I now recognize Mr. Kennedy for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the opportunity to have this hearing. I was just in Nogales, Arizona to witness the border for myself, and I will say there's been, as I'm a freshman and as an outsider, there was a lot of talk about we need to pass legislation to control the border. And in fact, there's order at the border now because we have the right president. We need legislation as well, and I do think, and I'll compliment Congressman Siscomani for this legislation. I think it's a step in the right direction for us, and I'm a big fan of passing legislation, but it takes a president with the will to control our border, and we actually do have a president with that will. When I went to the border this weekend and witnessed what was there was essentially nothing there. Nothing was happening. Now, there's always something happening, but and I was there for 48 hours, but it's impressive to see the order that has been brought, and I appreciate all of you for being here and being our witnesses to help us. I'll start with Sheriff Cleveland. Thanks for your testimony. And actually, I'll also point out to Mr. Lopez that I do want to, if you have any follow-up from your presentation, I understand you were cut short. So with my residual time that I hope to have, I'd like to turn that over to you. So if you'd prepare any comments you might have. But I'm a family practice doctor professionally, and I'm sensitive to the challenges that people can face when seeking medical care. And Mr. Cleveland, Sheriff Cleveland, in your testimony, you said Terrell County saw strains on the medical emergency resources as a result of the surge in border crossings. Has there been a rise in emergency room visits, and has it been to the detriment of your population? Can you tell me more about that?
Since the new administration came in, we've had very little activity, and we've had only one deceased legal alien we assisted with the neighboring county with, but we've had no emergency medical calls that I can recall since this new administration.
Congratulations. Previous to this new administration, what was that like for you?
Yeah, so again, we're a very large county. We're a very poor county, and there's not a lot of revenue coming in. So our sheriff's office, it's myself and 2 deputies. Fortunately, through Operation Lone Star, we've been able to hire an additional 2 in Operation Lone Star as Governor Abbott's response to the border. Like the sheriff's office, our emergency medical services only has 1 crew on at a time, which is made up of 2 people. So at times, if they're responding to border situations, it takes them out of service to respond to possibly situations that may be needed there in our county.
You told us there were how many deaths in the past?
The last 4 years, we had a total of 43 deaths.
43 deaths.
People trying to cross our portion of the border illegally.
Tragic. Everyone is tragic, but 43 of those is extremely tragic. But Mr. Lopez, if we can, did you have any further comments you'd like to make that you didn't get to make earlier?
I do thank you for your time to me. I'd like to point out that part of my testimony would include it's called carbofuran, which is a highly toxic chemical.
Used in the marijuana cultivation, right?
Correct. And I'd just like to point out how that affects my county going forward. So according to research from the LA Times, illegally smuggled carbofuran from Mexico to the U.S. is used on 90% of marijuana grows on public land in California. Illicit cannabis contaminated with carbofuran from California is a significant source of marijuana in states where it remains illegal. As this problem proliferated throughout our region in San Bernardino County, some of our northern counties in California, like Siskiyou and Humboldt County, also saw the same thing because there were virtually no consequences in California under Proposition 64. Recently, Los Angeles Times tested 25 cannabis products that were purchased from California legal retail stores and had them tested at private labs, which showed concentrations of pesticides above levels that the state allows or at levels that exceed federal standards for tobacco. The contaminants include chemicals tied to cancer, liver failure, thyroid disease, and genetic and neurological harm to users and unborn children. These harmful pesticides, many of which originated from China, are being smuggled into the United States and used in illegal cannabis cultivation on public lands. Seized cannabis from illegal grows in San Bernardino County and Siskiyou counties has been traced to licensed facilities in Oregon and California, revealing a dangerous contamination risk. Many of these samples are coming back with these harmful pesticides that are originating on our public lands and inundating the legal market, created a public health situation where users of cannabis believe that their cannabis is legal and safe, but it is not safe. These pesticides have avoided detection by labs because the states like California do not require labs to test foreign labeled pesticides. After all, we shouldn't be using them. This poses a severe public health threat and contributes to the environment degradation. Thank you. I yield back the time.
Thank you very much, and I'll just conclude. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity, but we're allowing this carbofuran to toxify our citizens while we claim that floating barriers are creating a muscle concern at the border. And I'll just point out that we want to keep poisons out of our citizens' lives, and thank you for bringing up that testimony. I'll yield the remainder of my time, Mr. Chair. Thank you.